Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An estimate based on little or no information. A solid missile discharged from a firearm. The shot buzzed past his ear. A person who shoots, usually with respect to their ability to shoot. He is a crack shot. An informal photograph, usually made with a small handheld camera. My snapshots haven't been developed yet. Varying in color when seen in different lights or from different angles. Chatoyant, or shot, silk. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. His parting shot was, drop dead. A chance to do something. He wanted a shot at the champion. The launching of a missile or spacecraft to a specified destination. A consecutive series of pictures that constitutes a unit of action in a film. Sports. The act of swinging or striking at a ball with a club or racket or bat or cue or hand. A good shot requires good balance and tempo. The act of firing a projectile. Informal words for any attempt or effort. He gave it his best shot. The act of putting a liquid into the body by means of a syringe. The nurse gave him a flu shot. A small drink of liquor. He poured a shot of whiskey. A blow hard enough to cause injury. He is still recovering from a shot to his leg. An attempt to score in a game. An explosive charge used in blasting. Sports equipment consisting of a heavy metal ball used in the shot put. He trained at putting the shot. An estimate based on little or no information. Navigation without the aid of celestial observations. An estimate based on little or no information. Guess correctly. Solve by guessing. He guessed the right number of beans in the jar and won the prize. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. Expect, believe, or suppose. I guess she is angry at me for standing her up. A message expressing an opinion based on incomplete evidence. Put forward, of a guess, in spite of possible refutation. I am guessing that the price of real estate will rise again. An estimate based on little or no information. An estimate based on little or no information. A solid missile discharged from a firearm. A small sphere. A person who shoots, usually with respect to their ability to shoot. A poor shooter. A gambler who throws dice in the game of craps. A large marble used for shooting in the game of marbles. A professional killer who uses a gun. Sports. A player who drives or kicks a ball at the goal, or a basketball player who shoots at the basket. Move or strike with a noise. His arm was snapped forward. An informal photograph, usually made with a small handheld camera. My snapshots haven't been developed yet. Tender green beans without strings that easily snap into sections. The act of catching an object with the hands. The infielder's snap and throw was a single motion. Separate or cause to separate abruptly. The rope snapped. Cause to make a snapping sound. Snap your fingers. Lose control of one's emotions. When her baby died, she snapped. The tendency of a body to return to its original shape after it has been stretched or compressed. The waistband had lost its snap. Record on photographic film. She snapped a picture of the president. Break suddenly and abruptly, as under tension. The pipe snapped. A fastener used on clothing fastens with a snapping sound. Children can manage snaps better than buttons. A crisp round cookie flavored with ginger. Any undertaking that is easy to do. To grasp hastily or eagerly. Make a sharp sound. His fingers snapped. Utter in an angry, sharp, or abrupt tone. The sales clerk snapped a reply at the angry customer. A sudden sharp noise. He can hear the snap of a twig. American football. Putting the ball in play by passing it, between the legs, to a back. The quarterback fumbled the snap. A spell of cold weather. A cold snap in the middle of May. A sudden breaking. Bring the jaws together. He snapped indignantly. Close with a snapping motion. The lock snapped shut. Move with a snapping sound. Bullets snapped past us. Put in play with a snap. Snap a football. The act of snapping the fingers. Movement of a finger from the tip to the base of the thumb on the same hand. He gave his fingers a snap. The noise produced by the rapid movement of a finger from the tip to the base of the thumb on the same hand. Servants appeared at the snap of his fingers. An informal photograph, usually made with a small handheld camera. My snapshots haven't been developed yet. Capable of or tending to change in form or quality or nature. Such that alteration is possible, having a marked tendency to change. Changeable behavior. Varying in color when seen in different lights or from different angles. Changeable taffeta. Subject to change. A changeable climate. Varying in color when seen in different lights or from different angles. Chatoyant, or shot, silk. Varying in color when seen in different lights or from different angles. A dragonfly hovered, vibrating and iridescent. Having a play of lustrous rainbow colors. An iridescent oil slick. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. A subsidiary point facing opposite from the main point that makes an arrowhead or spear hard to remove. One of the parallel filaments projecting from the main shaft of a feather. Provide with barbs. Barbed wire. The pointed part of barbed wire. Turn up, loosen, or remove earth. Remove, harvest, or recover by digging. Dig salt. The site of an archaeological exploration. They set up camp next to the dig. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. She takes a dig at me every chance she gets. The act of touching someone suddenly with your finger or elbow. She gave me a sharp dig in the ribs. Remove the inner part or the core of. The act of digging. Create by digging. Dig a hole. Get the meaning of something. Poke or thrust abruptly. Work hard. She was digging away at her math homework. A small gouge, as in the cover of a book. The book was in good condition except for a dig in the back cover. Thrust down or into. Dig the oars into the water. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Laugh at with contempt and derision. Be compatible, similar or consistent. Coincide in their characteristics. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Shift from one side of the ship to the other. Be compatible, similar or consistent. Coincide in their characteristics. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. She threw shafts of sarcasm. The hollow spine of a feather. A revolving rod that transmits power or motion. A column of light, as from a beacon. Defeat someone through trickery or deceit. The main, mid section of a long bone. Architecture. Upright consisting of the vertical part of a column. Obscene terms for penis. A long pointed rod used as a tool or weapon. A line that forms the length of an arrow pointer. A long rod or pole, especially the handle of an implement or the body of a weapon like a spear or arrow. A long vertical passage sunk into the earth, as for a mine or tunnel. A vertical passageway through a building, as for an elevator. Equip with a shaft. An aggressive remark directed at a person like a missile and intended to have a telling effect. Throw violently. He slammed the book on the table. Close violently. He slammed the door shut. Winning all or all but one of the tricks in bridge. Dance the slam dance. Strike violently. Slam the ball. A forceful impact that makes a loud noise. The noise made by the forceful impact of two objects. A purified and potent form of cocaine that is smoked rather than snorted, highly addictive. A long narrow opening. A usually brief attempt. He took a crack at it. A narrow opening. He opened the window a crack. Become fractured. Break or crack on the surface only. The glass cracked when it was heated. Suffer a nervous breakdown. A chance to do something. Break suddenly and abruptly, as under tension. Witty remark. Pass through, a barrier. Registrations cracked through the 30,000 mark in the county. Make a sharp sound. Of the highest quality. A crack shot. A long narrow depression in a surface. A sudden sharp noise. The crack of a whip. The act of cracking something. A blemish resulting from a break without complete separation of the parts. There was a crack in the mirror. Break into simpler molecules by means of heat. The petroleum cracked. break partially but keep its integrity. The glass cracked. Cause to become cracked. Heat and light cracked the back of the leather chair. Gain unauthorized access computers with malicious intentions. She cracked my password. Hit forcefully. Deal a hard blow, making a cracking noise. The teacher cracked him across the face with a ruler. Make a very sharp explosive sound. His gun cracked. Reduce petroleum to a simpler compound by cracking. Tell spontaneously. Crack a joke. The launching of a missile or spacecraft to a specified destination. The context and environment in which something is set. Graphic art consisting of the graphic or photographic representation of a visual percept. He painted scenes from everyday life. A situation treated as an observable object. The religious scene in England has changed in the last century. The visual percept of a region. The painted structures of a stage set that are intended to suggest a particular locale. They worked all night painting the scenery. A display of bad temper. He made a scene. A consecutive series of pictures that constitutes a unit of action in a film. An incident, real or imaginary. Their parting was a sad scene. A subdivision of an act of a play. The first act has 3 scenes. The place where some action occurs. The police returned to the scene of the crime. A light touch with the hands. Anything that happens suddenly or by chance without an apparent cause. The pregnancy was a stroke of bad luck. The maximum movement available to a pivoted or reciprocating piece by a cam. Sports. The act of swinging or striking at a ball with a club or racket or bat or cue or hand. It took 2 strokes to get out of the bunker. A punctuation mark, used to separate related items of information. A sudden loss of consciousness resulting when the rupture or occlusion of a blood vessel leads to oxygen lack in the brain. A light touch. A mark made on a surface by a pen, pencil, or paintbrush. She applied the paint in careful strokes. Any one of the repeated movements of the limbs and body used for locomotion in swimming or rowing. A single complete movement. Golf. The unit of scoring in golf is the act of hitting the ball with a club. Nicholas won by 3 strokes. Row at a particular rate. Strike a ball with a smooth blow. The oarsman nearest the stern of the shell who sets the pace for the rest of the crew. Touch lightly and repeatedly, as with brushing motions. He stroked his long beard. Treat gingerly or carefully. You have to stroke the boss. The act of firing a projectile. His shooting was slow but accurate. Killing someone by gunfire. When the shooting stopped, there were 3 dead bodies. Stab or pierce. A sudden sharp feeling. She felt a stab of excitement. Use a knife on. A strong blow with a knife or other sharp-pointed instrument. One strong stab to the heart killed him. Poke or thrust abruptly. Informal words for any attempt or effort. He took a stab at forecasting. Any solution that is injected, as into the skin. The act of putting a liquid into the body by means of a syringe. The forceful insertion of a substance under pressure. A tart, spicy quality. Sever or remove by pinching or snipping. Nip off the flowers. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. The property of being moderately cold. Offensive slang. Offensive term for a person of Japanese descent. A small sharp bite or snip. A small drink of liquor. Squeeze tightly between the fingers. Give a small sharp bite to. The Queen's corgis always nip at her staff's ankles. Striking in variety and interest. Having much or varied color. Striking in variety and interest. A colorful period of history. Having much or varied color. Colorful autumn leaves. Having color or a certain color, sometimes used in combination. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. A judgment of the qualities of something or somebody. In my estimation, the boy is innocent. The respect with which a person is held. They had a high estimation of his ability. A document appraising the value of something, as for insurance or taxation. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. The act of bringing near or bringing together, especially the cut edges of tissue. An imprecise or incomplete account. Newspapers gave only an approximation of the actual events. The quality of coming near to identity, especially close in quantity. Judged to be probable. An approximate calculation of quantity or degree or worth. An estimate of what it would cost. Judge tentatively or form an estimate of quantities or time. I estimate this chicken to weigh 3 pounds. A judgment of the qualities of something or somebody. Many factors are involved in any estimate of human life. The respect with which a person is held. A document appraising the value of something, as for insurance or taxation. A statement indicating the likely cost of some job. He got an estimate from the car repair shop.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.